Hey guys, Adam Lobel here from KnuckleTFUp.com. We're here to talk about Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship number 78. Very good show. Hollywood, Florida. That's where they were coming from, the Hard Rock. Very popular place for Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, which is popular everywhere it goes. But boy, there at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, California, it was sold out. Every single seat was taken. Pretty impressive. This show kicked off, and we're going to start with the prelims and go through the whole card. I've managed to keep these videos around 20-25 minutes. I don't think that's too bad. But I jump into things. I don't dilly-dally, so let's get into it. Rambo Russo took on Justin Martinez in the first bout, the first fight of the night. These guys were pretty evenly matched stats-wise. Right up there with weight, right up there with fist size, reach. I mean, Russo had a 2-inch reach advantage, but that was it. And he did have a 3-inch height advantage, which I will admit does help. Those of you, I talk to you guys who know more about this than me, way more than me, and I talk to people who are just getting into it and don't know anything. So bear with me when I describe some stuff, or if, God forbid, I'm ever wrong in one of my takes or opinions on what's going on. The taller guy in most fights has the advantage if they know what they're doing, especially with boxing. If you can keep the shorter man at bay here, and this isn't 3 inches isn't huge, but it's it's a decent difference. If you can keep the shorter man at bay, you can pick him off. You can fight defensively, you can counter strike, and you can take him out. Wasn't really any of that going on here. Rambo Russo pretty much dominated and won it shortly after the round began with a big hard shot to the left jaw of Martinez. Martinez was fiery. He was coming in a lot, but Rambo Russo would just bide his time and wait until he had that perfect lined up shot to the face and a quick left jab to that jaw. The left jaw of Justin Martinez took him out and took him down. Big win by Rambo Russo, who's looking to climb the ranks, and I think this fight will do it for him. There's no reason he shouldn't be higher than he is, in my opinion, and I think this is going to get him a lot more attention. Our next prelim fight was Jake Bostwick taking on Leo Carrera. And this was another quick one, folks. 57 seconds. The tattooed freak, and I mean that respectively. He's a freak in the ring. He gets in there and takes guys out. Tattoos literally from head to toe on his head. I didn't really look at his feet. He had shoes on, of course, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're tatted as well. This guy, that's how you recognize him and how you'll remember him. He is tattooed like a guy that would charge money at the circus years ago when I was a little boy. Leo Carrera came in there, did his best, but it wasn't enough. I mean, he didn't look terrible, but how good can you look getting knocked out in 57 seconds? Bostwick says he's coming for the title. Carrera is normally a counter fighter. His opponent, Leo Carrera, normally counters, holds back and counters, but he sort of charged in here, surprisingly. Even Bostwick says this after the bout. I was surprised he came at me the way that he did, but it allowed me to fire off one of my shots, take him out, take him down, get the win, and talk about title contention for Jake Bostwick. Next up, we had the quickest fight of the night. Now, yeah, these are all first-rounders, guys. They're prelims. That stuff can happen at any time. It's one of the most enjoyable things about bare-knuckle fighting, in my opinion. It's completely and totally unpredictable. And here we had Esteban Rodriguez, who was favored to win this fight against Julio Perez, but instead, Julio Perez, Mr. Mohawk himself, Rodriguez said he was going to knock the Mohawk off his head. No, just the opposite happened here. And within 3 seconds, down goes Rodriguez. I mean, good Lord, Julio Perez came out on fire, but it was a controlled fire. You see some of these fights, these guys just come out and they're just wailing away. No, Julio Perez landed a three combo. Bam, hit him in the head. As he was going down, he hit him in the head 2 more times. Not on the ground. There was no dirty business here, but it was like chopping a tree down. Kaboom! It starts to fall. Kaboom! It keeps falling. Kaboom! It's down and out. I saw some people on Twitter complain about the 3-second thing, saying, "What's the clock? It was more than 3 seconds." I don't care. He was credited here as the second fastest knockout in combat sports history. Give it to the man. I mean, come on. It was like 5 seconds. It might have even been 6. I had to put up with malcontents back when I was a big wrestling fan, which was most of my life. I'm not putting up with them here. All right? Even if you're right, I don't care. I love these guys. I respect these guys. I love these fights. This wasn't much of a fight, but it was a hell of a spectacle. And Julio Perez has charisma, man. He's legitimately excited coming up through life. He said he used to go out and collect cans and bottles for whatever kind of money he could get extra in his life. And now here he is, a major player in the cruiserweight division, talking about challenging for the title, and deservedly so. He's the man. He's awesome to watch. He's awesome to listen to. He takes out Esteban Rodriguez in 3 damn seconds. There are guys who can ride a bull longer than this fight took. Kind of crazy. Then we get to the main card with Milton Voltar, a new fighter, a boxer coming in, and his style. This guy's style was something. You had to behold it. It was a lot of, they weren't feints. That's not what I'm talking about. This guy just reared his head back like, ooh, what you doing? Every time. Of course, he was fighting Gaston Reno, who went at him, but not furiously. Reno is a very smart fighter, and it took him 2 rounds, really, to figure Voltar out. Voltar probably won the first round just because of that crazy looping style he had, bobbing and weaving. That doesn't even really explain it. You have to watch this fight to see what I mean. Voltar is just like, I don't know. I don't want to call him a spider because I'm going to say, oh, like Anderson Silva. No. But just very, very different, very, very unique. But in that 3rd round, it was clear that Gaston Reno figured him the hell out and beat him senseless. Not really, didn't. He quit. Milton Voltar quit. He got punched hard in the eye. Blood was all over his face. You could tell it bothered him. He's like, what the? Said he couldn't see. He waved it off, told the ref, I'm done. I'm done. I think it's the first time I've seen that. Now keep in mind, this is probably my 12th bare knuckle show since I've been watching, only a short few weeks, 2 months maybe. But maybe 3. Hasn't been real long. But I've never seen this. I've never seen a guy just look at the ref and say, I'm done. I've seen him back in the corner. I've seen him take a knee. But this guy just basically threw his hands up and said, I'm done. He didn't like the fact that he was hit in the eye. I think he wanted the ref to almost call it an illegal shot or something, even though there was nothing anywhere close to an illegal shot. But Milton Voltar impressed me with his style. Not because I really liked it, because honestly I didn't. But it impressed me that he could bring this type of style in here. It did not work. It did for the first round, started getting a little loopy in the second, and Reno figured it out in the 3rd and took him out and took him down and wins it. He's also talking about title opportunities in this welterweight division. Hey, who doesn't want a title shot? I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but great guy, solid fight, very interesting fight. Milton Voltar, I think, if he's going to continue in this, needs to change it up a little bit. I don't think this unique style is going to work for him, but we'll see if he makes me eat my words, if you will. Next up was Steve Townsend against Keith Richardson. Pretty good. It didn't blow me away, but it was not a bad match in any stretch of the imagination. Townsend won this fight because what he was doing most of the fight, and it didn't go all 5 rounds, of course, went 3 rounds, is that he would get a step-in left. He was nailing a step-in left just about every time. Keith Richardson's defense was good, and Keith Richardson's toughness is incredible. This guy was taking some hits that would have fallen just about any other man in the world, but he kept going. But the step-in left kept working, and then come the 3rd round, and out came the flurries from Townsend. The ref stepped in and stopped it, and Richardson didn't raise a protest, didn't even roll his eyes. He was fine with it. He was getting beaten, and for his own safety, for his own protection, because this guy won't give up like our last guy, and this guy won't go down unless you hit him with a baseball bat. The ref stepped in and said, no, we're going to stop this, giving the win to Steve Townsend. Standing knockout. Pretty impressive. Next up was a fight I absolutely loved. Good Lord. I titled this on my social media, Good God, with G-A-W-D. I said, I found my favorite female fighter, Christine Vicens. I've forgotten how to pronounce it already. Destroying Jenny Savage. Now, Jenny Savage stepped up pretty much last minute to take this fight. Not sure who the opponent was supposed to be, but they didn't show. They backed out. Jenny Savage was a savage for taking this, but she got beaten like a savage. This is one of the most aggressive female fights I have seen. And again, keep in mind, in my short time watching this, and I'm going to go back and watch older shows. I am. But this was incredible. Christine just came in here and beat Jenny down, and it was over in the 1st round. And my God, she was impressive. I can't wait to see her fight tougher opponents. If she's this good, she's going to be one of my favorites. Absolutely. Big win here. Next up, we had Francisco Ricci taking on Dallas Davison in the next fight. Here, the reach difference was insane. Ricci, no pun intended, 79-inch reach, and Davison, 72. 7-inch difference, and I think that made a difference. Now, to his credit, the dentist, Dallas Davison, came in a lot. He had to. He was the somewhat shorter man, 4 inches shorter. That's kind of significant. He had to come in and up and try to take Ricci out. And he nailed Ricci numerous times. He looked good. There's no way that I'm saying he didn't look good. But this only went 2 rounds, because what Ricci did was he bided his time. He fought defensively. He used the sweet science, if you will. He blocked Davison most of the time, even though Davison got some nice shots, and I'm not saying he didn't. But in the end, Ricci bided his time, and one final time, Dallas Davison came in and got a left hook onto his mouth and knocked him out and knocked him down. He could not get up by the 10 count. Francisco Ricci defeats Dallas Davison in a pretty good 2-rounder, because I appreciate Davison's aggressiveness, but in the end, it's really what cost him. Up next, we had Howard Davis taking on Draco Rodriguez. Here was a 5-round bout that went back and forth pretty good, but again, significant height difference and reach difference here. Davis was 6'2", and Rodriguez was 5'9". Davis's reach was 77 inches. Rodriguez's reach was 69. And I think that made a difference, and I believe that is how Davis won this fight. He just landed more shots, kept Rodriguez at bay for 5 rounds. The fight wasn't crazy exciting, but it wasn't bad in any stretch of the imagination. The guys went at each other, but again, the 2 excellent boxers. The taller guy with the longer reach will almost always win, especially if you're going the whole way through. You're going to all 5 rounds. He's just going to get more opportunities. If he knows how to avoid and can block shots, he's going to get a chance to counterfight, the counterbox, and come back and take the smaller guy out. It takes an extremely talented smaller guy. This significant difference, 5-6 inches in height, 8 inches in reach. It takes a significant smaller fighter to defeat an equally talented taller fighter. It just does, especially in my experience in real life boxing, which I have watched a lot in my life. It just has been a long time. And now in bare knuckle, and that's who came through here. The taller guy with the bigger reach. Both guys were good, but Davis knew how to use what God gave him to overcome the smaller man. Real quick, there was a short interview with Paige Van Zandt in the audience talking about coming back. I think she may have fought a bare knuckle before. I don't know if it was Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship or another company, but I'm pretty sure that she did. But she's talking about coming to Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. She said something about her people, her managers, talking to the company. So we'll have to wait and see. Hope we see it. She has a big following. I'm one of them. Big fan of Paige Van Zandt. Always have been. Then we had Justin Albarola taking on Roberto Armas. Now, this was a bantamweight fight. And honestly, this one kind of bored me. And when I say that I was bored by a fight, and I know the fighters, if they hear it or if it's within the sound of their voice, of course they're not going to like that. But I can be bored by a fight acknowledging that it wasn't a bad fight. It's just a style of fight that I couldn't get into. They kept their distance, and they came in here or there. They absolutely got some big blows on each other. Both of them did completely. I mean, Albarola threw over 200 strikes. Only 38% of them landed, but he threw over 200 strikes. And Albarola won it by split decision. Whenever a fight is a split decision, that tells you it not necessarily was a bad fight, but it also tells you, well, I don't want to say it wasn't exciting. You can have an exciting fight with a split decision. I don't want to be stupid. But this fight just didn't do it for me. I like both guys. Maybe if they fight other people, but these two, Albarola against Armas, Roberto Armas, just didn't do much for me. I'd call this the most boring fight of the night, but not a bad fight. Both of these guys know what the hell they're doing. It was just more measuring, more calculative, more scientific than any of the other fights. And scientific's a good thing, but it doesn't always lead to excitement. Justin Albarola defeats Roberto Armas in a solid but not real exciting fight. Okay, next up was Brian Duran. Now, this was a fight people were looking forward to. Duran versus Robbie Peralta. And it was the opposite fight than the one before it. The one I just talked about being the most boring fight of the night, even though not a bad fight. This was exciting. This was 5 rounds of 2 guys just killing it. 2 guys pressing each other tremendously. 2 guys putting it all on the line. Now, they're smart, and they know how to measure, and they know the sweet science of boxing, if you will, at least to a degree, and they use it, but they still entertained the crowd. Now, the big thing is Peralta knocked Duran down twice, and Duran knocked Peralta down once, and I think that made the difference. The judges ruled it a majority draw. I said I thought that made a difference with the 2 knockdowns compared to 1. The judges did not. They looked at this fight as being completely even. I don't really have a problem with that. Yes, there's a huge argument to make that if you knock a guy down more than he knocks you down, you won the fight. Of course there's an argument to be made. But the judges, who are professional judges, and believe me, I don't like leaving in the hands of judges. If you're going to leave your fight in the hands of the judges, you're going to take what you get. Okay? So if you're going to boo somebody and you're going to be mad at somebody, you got to boo and be mad at these excellent fighters. And who wants to do that, right? Nobody. But they couldn't knock the other one out. They couldn't make each other quit. So in the end, the judges decided. And they decided clearly that Duran's comeback overtook, dismissed the 2 times he was knocked down, or at least one of them, making it an even fight. I don't know. You'd have to talk to the judges to completely explain this. Of course I can't. But I accept it. I've been a fight fan for a long time. And I'm sure many of you have too. I'm new to bare knuckle. Pretty new. But I've been a fight fan for a long time. Boxing, UFC, Bellator, One Championship. There was a time I watched all of them. Okay? Why did it get away from it? It got a little boring. Bare knuckle's not boring. So here I am back. I'm trying to learn more about it. But I don't think calling this a draw was completely unfair and unjustified. I am sure Peralta does. I'm sure he does, and I'm sure he can make a solid argument as to why he was ripped off. I can empathize with him and still disagree. I don't like draws. You know, who likes a draw? It's like kissing your sister, right? Nobody likes them. So hopefully we'll get to see these 2 fight again very soon. Here's hoping. And we're getting close here to the end of the show. This is for the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship interim flyweight title. So we got some small guys here coming in here at 125-pound weight limit. Nothing against them. These guys usually fight fast and furious. And, of course, that's what these 2 did. They did, but we had a very controversial ending here at the end of the 2nd round. The ref, you know, he called Guy Perez over, wanted the doctor to take a look at him. Why? See in one of the screenshots I have here, his earlobe was almost ripped completely off. It was completely detached from the side of his head, hanging there, split. It looked gruesome. And the doctor said, no, we're not going to continue this, and stopped it at the end of the 2nd round. This is one part of the controversy. This bout had 2 controversies. Now, of course, neither fighter was thrilled. This is for the interim flyweight title. But, of course, Perez's opponent is going to be happy here. Andrew Strode, who thought, medical stoppage? I'm the new interim flyweight champion. No. The judges called this a no contest. Now, I'm trying to get on board with this, but I don't get it. Look, a medical stoppage always gives the win to the other guy. A medical stoppage always means the other fighter, who could continue to go, gets the TKO. He gets the win. Why didn't he get it here? From what I understand, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship is looking into this. Hopefully we'll get some answers. They're going to talk to the judges and find out what they were thinking, why they did this, what their thought process was. I don't know. But at the same time, guys, do you really want to see the flyweight title be decided by a medical stoppage because the guy's earlobe was ready to come off? Why did they stop it for an earlobe, by the way? If your earlobe ever detaches, if you ever lose it, you can't put it back on. It's cartilage. You can't just sew it back on. Doesn't work that way. So the doctor stops it so he isn't disfigured and his earlobe can be reattached. Since it's still there, it just needs sewed onto the side of his head. some fighters probably think, oh, I'll lose my earlobe for a title. Maybe that's what they're thinking, but doctors don't think that way. You always have to listen to the doctors. Fight was stopped, but the no contest was the big screwy thing for me here. I do think Strode got ripped off. These two need to fight again very soon so this title can be decided. Honestly, it should be on Strode, in my opinion. And that's no offense to Perez. And it was a punch that's one thing they said, that it wasn't a punch that knocked the earlobe loose. And what the hell was it? It was a punch. You can see the punch when it happens. The judges were wrong here, unfortunately. Unfortunately. Finally, we're at the main event. This is a big one. People have been waiting on this thing. Oh, man, it is the big heavyweights. Leonardo Perdomo. He is a cocky son of a bitch. And he has a right to be. Before this bout, he had won 7 straight bare-knuckle fights by knockout in the first damn round. And he's cocky about it, man. There is no doubt about it. He speaks Spanish and some broken English. I mean, credit to him, I don't speak any Spanish. But it's clear that this dude knows he's badass and acts like it. No doubt about that. Here he took on Arnold A.J. Adams, a 2-time heavyweight champion, in a bout that people, including myself, was very much looking forward to. A.J. Adams has several inches height-wise on Perdomo. He has 5 inches in reach on him, so we thought, wow, A.J. Adams has a chance here, but not really. Perdomo, again, know the guy's name. I'm just an idiot because I can't pronounce it sometimes, but I'll get there, guys. I'll get that. Perdomo came out like a bull of the woods and just charged and nailed and hit Adams over and over, knocking him down. Major controversial moment. When he had him down, Perdomo went down to, or not Perdomo, but Adams went down to a knee, and Perdomo reached under and gave him a big hit, big punch while he was down on a knee. And that is a major rule breaker. He lost a point. He probably should have lost 2 because it caused significant damage. Adams is given 5 minutes to recover. Perdomo didn't want to let him do it. He was taunting him. Get up, come on, let's go. At the press conference, Perdomo said he was faking. Said it didn't hurt him that bad. That's what I'm talking about, man. Leonardo Perdomo is a hell of a fighter. But sometimes some of his antics here were very disrespectful and made me lose some respect towards him, made me lose some of my fandom because he was just, sort of a bitch. God, I'm, taking my life in my hands if I ever encountered this guy at a show or something. But in this situation, he was. I mean, Adams, I don't think was faking it. You get rocked while you're on your knee. I think you need all 5 minutes. He took maybe 2. Got back up, instantly got pounded, knocked down. Again, this time, Leonardo Perdomo, while Adams is down, is doing like victory laps. Like, woo, like he's excited, I get it. But you're supposed to know the rules, and when you have your opponent down, you back up to a neutral corner. The ref cannot begin the 8 count. The 8 count starts, the timekeeper starts it, but the ref can't stand there and give it until he gets the opponent in a neutral corner. He finally does that, and by the time he comes back, the count's at 6 from the timekeeper. It goes to 10, and Adams is confused, like, I'm just now seeing you. He didn't, remember or think of that the timekeeper had started it, and it gets to 10, and Adams is like, what the hell, you short counted me. No, there was no short count. That was completely by the rules, but Adams thought he had a little bit more time to recover. He equated the ref being at his side at the beginning of the 8 count, when that's not how it ever works. If the ref can't start the count because he's dealing with the guy who knocked his opponent down, getting him to back up, then the timekeeper starts it, and the ref comes and looks at the timekeeper, tells him what number he's at, and continues from there. So that's what happened. It was totally fair, but Adams didn't get it. Adams didn't realize it and loses here. Not happy about it. They almost came to blows after the fight. There was some serious words exchanged. Leonardo Perdomo, once Ben Rothwell, says a lot of bold things about him, says he's afraid of him, says he's been ducking him. Man, I don't know. Leonardo Perdomo, I can't take anything away from him. 8 straight first-round knockouts means he's one of the best in the business today. Can't deny that. But, man, the dude's attitude is a little bit of a struggle for me to put up with. I like mouthy guys. I like Conor McGregor. I like guys that know how to promo, right? I like that. I love it. I used to be a pro wrestling guy. I get it. But this guy, sometimes guys are so cocky and so full of themselves, you kind of want to see them get knocked on their ass, and that's kind of how I'm feeling about Perdomo at this moment. But we'll see. Maybe my views will change, and I'll become a big fan of him. I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I'm saying that I did not like what I saw attitude-wise in this fight from him here. I just didn't. The running around the ring nonsense, the ridiculous mouthing off. No, Adams is down on a knee. It was ridiculous. It was kind of a pathetic display, and hopefully Leonardo Perdomo is not this kind of guy generally. But that was the show. Very good, in my opinion. Now, because there were some controversial finishes, I don't want to rate it badly because of that. That's nobody's fault except for those judges who called that one fight a no contest. I'm going to have to take a little off for that. It's not Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship's fault at all. I still loved this show. I appreciated it. I thought it was great. But because of that, and because of Perdomo's ridiculous attitude, that's not company's fault either, but someone needs to sort of slap his wrist a little bit and tell him, a little too over the top, buddy. I'm taking this down to an 8 out of 10. Okay, if not for those things, this would have come close to a 10. Really enjoyed this show. The ridiculous 3-second knockout was awesome. The women's fight was awesome. A lot of the fights were great. I really appreciated them. One boring fight. 3 semi-controversial fights that was no one's fault. No rules or things were broken. One big questionable decision by the judges. Didn't take my enjoyment of it away. But again, as I rate these shows, I want only the best of the best to be 9s and 10s. And while this was really good, and I loved it, based on what I hope for future fights to see for 9s and 10s, I got to give this one an 8. But a little longer than normal, this show, a little over the 25-minute mark. I appreciate those of you who do watch the videos. I know I don't have much of an audience at all, but I don't care. I'm making content about something I love, and I'm going to keep doing it. I don't care if I don't have an audience at all, and I'm talking to myself. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But, guys, I'm Adam Lavelle, KnuckleTFUp.com, and I'll be back with more bare knuckle discussion before you freaking know it.